Si, 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 do, la, da, ya, kusina, la, do, ba, da, ha. Ba, da, ha, ba, da, ha. Ya, kusina, la, do, ba, da, ha. Ba, da, ha, ba, da, ha. Ya, kusina, la, do, ba, da, ha.
I think it's amazing, Howard, or not Howard, or not Howard, whoever you are watching the film. Start again. It's amazing. And at the beginning of this, we're now what? In the beginning of August. At the beginning of this year, I sort of had a plan, towards the end of last year, I had a plan that I wanted to start getting paid for being a musician or for being a director of choirs. And now 5 months, or after 5 months of being with Harmonious, we were singing with the staff in the gardens of number 10 Downing Street. It's just, it seems quite surreal, to be honest.
Hello, Miss Resort.
Harmonious started in the middle of March. It took about 2 weeks to set up. Rachel Dickinson from Westminster Council was given the idea. She came to Janice Horseman at Mind, said, "Look, we want to start this choir. Will you help us?" And a week later, at the Service User Forum, it was mooted. Rachel phoned me and said, "Would I help?" I said, "Yes, I'd love to help." So I came on. Then the next week, we were at our first rehearsal.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural session of Westminster Sings. I'm David Fellops, and I'm going to hopefully be leading you through the singing sessions over the next few weeks and months. And I have come from Harrow, and I've been running a choir for people affected by mental health for the last 8 years. Anything that I ask you to do, please take responsibility for your bodies. If you've got any aches, pains, knees, joints that don't work as they should, if things are painful, don't do them. And just let your breath go. Relax your shoulders. Take a breath in. Hold it. And relax everything. So we're filling the lungs, but you're not doing the shoulders, your shoulders work. Because if you think about it, when you're walking around, you don't see people walking around going... The breath is something that we do naturally from the moment we're born. But the moment you say, don't be aware, don't think about your breathing, first thing you do is think about your breathing. Yes, so don't think about your breathing.
It's not just a choir. It's not just about the singing. It is just creating a piece, in a way, with using music. And the excellence of the singing, or the amount of harmony you teach, or the amount of different voices, is not the be-all and end-all. It's really just doing it together, and trying to find out from the people singing what it is that makes them work.
OK, I have a question. Who's used to sing? Has anybody sung in choirs before? Regularly, yeah? Is there a piece of music that you can think of that brings back a memory for you, or creates an emotion in you, that just connects with you emotionally? Mariella, is there anything that you can think of? No.
I like Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Oh, fantastic.
It was one of my father's favourites.
Pardon me, boy, is that the Chattanooga Choo Choo? Yeah.
I mean, it's not just suddenly come to me. It's it's come to me gradually over the 9 years I've been doing this, working with people affected by mental illness. And there are some days when everything is just so smooth and the music takes over. And there are some days where you can't get to the music because the overwhelming feeling is of displaced energy. And I think one of the challenges I have is to see people's energy and harness it to make it part of to channel it into a positive way.
Banana, 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 oh.
I'm Peter. I have problems with kiwis.
The rich sharp.
The pitch of the kiwi, yes.
Kiwi, 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 kiwi,
Banana, banana, banana.
It was good. It's the first time I've really sung in front of other people. So it's it's a challenge to get over that anxiety. But actually, once you start, it's good. And looking forward to doing some more.
As they say, the proof of the fruit salad is in the eating.
Music is such a powerful entity for me. There's a magic about it. Music can get into your body. It transcends every sense.
My name is Nisha, and I started the choir at the very first time the choir formed back in March of this year. And for me, the reason why I joined the choir was I wanted to build my self-esteem and confidence and really sort of do something that I've not done before, but just be in a group that allowed me to be me.
It's your birthday tomorrow. You know what we do at people's birthdays, don't we? So we start off with our warm-up of... it's Nisha, by the way. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nisha. Happy birthday to you. Hey. Do you have any plans?
Sorry.
Oh. That's okay. So this is it. It's lovely.
Sadness and joy, they're both the same.
Yes.
It's been a really, really tough week this week. My father passed end of October. This week it's been really, really tough because it's my first birthday without my dad, and I've not been coping really, really well this week. It's been the most hardest week to get through.
Well, you made it here. Singing is the one thing that we can do to help. So let's try. Let's do some singing. The
music that David introduces to the group, it's all varied. I mean, it's quite odd stuff sometimes, but it's not about judging the music. I think music really uplifts your spirit.
Actually, Florence, can I swap you and Daryl around? So I've got the two gentlemen standing next to each other. Well, David and Daryl.
Hi, my name is Fatia, and I've been working for Mind for a number of years in the community team. More recently, I've been facilitating and helping out with the choir.
Carry on. Bella mama, bella mama, bella mama, bella mama, bella mama.
I think it takes a lot to be able to feel comfortable enough to sing in front of people if you consider them strangers. But I think to be able to trust a group, to think, OK, even if I don't sound great, I can sing in front of these people, I trust them enough. So I think that was a huge, leap for a lot of people.
Bella mama, yeah. Okay, so you got it. Okay, we're not familiar. Okay, sorry.
I'm not quite sure what we're supposed to be doing.
We get softer, we get louder, kind of, so it's sort of like...
Yeah, so while they're singing, Bella Mama, yay, they're singing, Bella Mama, yay.
Just starting.
Okay, right.
So it's just
Doesn't
your
quite
start.
sound like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's days I've come and I feel a bit stressed because there's, you know, you might have some monitoring to do, or you've got reports to write, and you've got lots of other things happening in life. And then you think, you know, I can't be getting involved in the rehearsal. I remember one particular rehearsal, I came in there, said I can only be here for 5 minutes. Stayed the entire time, left feeling a lot less stressed, and I went on to do, I think my performance at work was actually better because of it.
Running a choir of this nature is always so emotionally charged for me, because I'm never very far away from having led quite a dysfunctional life. And some people, you know, people say, David, what you do it's amazing. I find the only way I can be good at what I do is by not believing that I'm good enough at what I do.
Hi there, we're going to Downing Street. We're just going to sing in the Prime Minister's house, and it's going to be an awesome experience, and I just pray that it will mark history for Westminster Mind and the National Health Service. Well done, that was really
I read my diaries from the previous years, and some days I just did nothing, you know, I didn't even bother to get dressed, you know. Because I have got a mental illness, I just sort of have to stop myself from thinking negatively that it's all going to go pear-shaped at some stage and I'll be back to where I was, you know. But it'd be nice to think this is the beginning of an onwards and upwards progression.
What did he say?
Well, they've got everybody on the list. They've got everything else.
I haven't come to sing, I've come to see the cats. I haven't seen Larry today, but he's normally around.
We just sang at 10 Downing Street for civil servants there, which, you know, put aside all the politics and everything, is a good thing. It's a bit like, I suppose, a bit like a religion. You're sort of trying to get a message across to everybody saying that mental health, you know, it's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to be bipolar. You know, it's important that you talk to somebody about it. And it's so good. I've seen the difference in being able to talk to other colleagues about mental health over the past 10 years. It's just, you know, even my son, you know, who suffered with bipolar, sometimes I've had to phone up and say he can't come into work today.
There was a point at which there was a very profound aspect of the event at number 10 Downing Street. We're in the garden, we'd sung with the audience, I'd presented about mental health and challenged some of the misconceptions about mental health. And then people from the choir felt confident enough to stand up and share some of their personal experiences.
If I'd spoken, I'd have cried, so I didn't speak, you know. Again, I get emotional in situations like that. Being British, I try not to show it.
I guess the difference between this choir and other community choirs, there might be people sharing similar experiences, but we have the backup of experts by profession. So it's a combination of experts by profession who have experience of supporting people with mental health challenges, with people who have lived experience of mental health problems.
Did you go back to work after your first illness?
I did. I went back after 3 weeks after my first illness, and that was a mistake. The GP didn't know what to do with me because I lived alone, and it seemed like the best form of treatment for me to send me back into it. It wasn't the best treatment because I lasted about a week when I went back, and I was much worse. Yeah. And so I was sort of cycling to the outpatients and going to the receptions. I can't remember what I said. I was off my head, but it was crazy that I was on my own and searching for help to see a psychiatrist, you know. And in the end, I did see a psychiatrist, and he just gave me a couple of tablets, diazepam or something like that, to relax me. But I was too paranoid even to take the diazepam, so I wouldn't take medication at that stage. They didn't know what to make of me. It was like they'd never come across mental illness before. And I hadn't come across mental illness, of course. So it was all crazy and new to me, you know. I thought I was dead and this was the afterlife, you know.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me. If you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long. I've forgotten the rest.
I'm Janice Horsman, I'm Chief Executive of Brent, Wandsworth and Westminster Mind. I've been here for 8 years and leading the charity. We focus on mental health, community mental health, to support people living with mental health problems from a variety of services which are tailored to people's individual needs. Yes, I am in the choir. They let me join, and I really enjoy it. I can't go to all the rehearsals because I have a busy work life, as people can imagine. But I think it's been a great experience for me because I like connecting with people. I'm a practitioner, social work practitioner by background, and I think one of the most positive things about being a part of the choir is it's a great leveller. I feel like I'm part of the fellowship. It's been interesting the reaction and the dynamic in the hub and the office. Here at in Westminster to the choir. I think initially there was a bit of scepticism, you know, why are we doing this? How much is it costing? You know, what's the benefit? But I think as the story of the choir unfolds and people listen, hear the choir singing during office hours, I think the attitudes have changed considerably. There's much more interest in the choir and what's happening.
I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home. My only friend was the man in the moon, and even sometimes he would go away too. Never at his home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free.
Oh, fine.
And I've got her email address.
When we were formed, we were given I was given a brief. You know, you've got a lovely choir for people suffering from mental illness, and you've got to perform in 5 weeks in front of 300 people.
David Phillips came along and gave us a target, which was that he'd been asked by Westminster to see if the choir would be ready in something like 5 weeks' time to give a first performance in public in front of the senior managers of the adult social services of the two boroughs, Westminster and Kensington and Chelsea, at Kensington Great Hall. And that was an interesting challenge because we hadn't sung together before.
And I was split down the middle in that. Firstly, very angry that we were being given that challenge, how dare they make vulnerable people singing, get up and stand in front of people and sing. And the other half of me was like delighted and think, wow, what an amazing challenge. How do I get a dozen people who've never sung in public before ready to do that in 5 weeks?
In front of up to 500 people and sing in 5 weeks.
I must just mention Peter Bell, who's quite amazing. He's a member of the choir and been a service user at Mind in Westminster, and will take the initiative. It doesn't have to be asked to help. So, for example, he took over the logistics of the sound. So all I had to focus on was the people and the music. And he went and talked to the sound guy, set up the laptop, set up the music. And I wasn't even aware this was going on, which is amazing.
And shortly after joining, we were told that we were going to be doing this big performance in front of 300 people at Kensington Town Hall. And this is unbelievable, you know. It just felt surreal. It was a baptism of fire.
If we sing it like that at the performance, I'll be pleased. I'm happy that we've got as far as we've got so quickly. You know,
How are you going to do it without the words?
Well, we won't. We'll be doing it with the words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would like to aim to do it without the words. But if
Is there a technique or to remember things?
There may be, but I've forgotten them. Sorry.
We had 5 weeks of practicing from the choir, when the choir started, to actually now doing our first performance. So it was quite insightful yet daunting at the same time, because now you're having to perform in front of a group of people. You've never done anything like this before, so there was a lot of emotions going through, excitement, a bit of anxiety to know that you're doing something that is of a prestigious level so early on in the choir.
Into the Mind choir. It was because I came here for the walking group on Wednesdays that I found out there was a choir going on. And I'd been looking for a choir, and it's unbelievably local as well. It's just across the road from where I live. So it's worked out very well. Music is the big thing, and literature, writing. Sometimes I write prose and poetry as well. They have a very good poetry group at Mind on a Friday here, every second Friday. And I really enjoy that very much. And any chance I get to play my songs, I always relish that.
In any group of people, I guess you get a whole variety. There's Brian in our group who's a performer. He's a natural singer, he's a songwriter, and he's performed once I found that out, I asked him to come and sing for us. There's one song he does in particular, which is a lovely chorus which suits the choir, so we've printed out his lyrics. He's taught us the song, so hopefully at one of the next performances he'll perform the song and we'll be singing, the choir will back him with the chorus.
We're going to do The Ballad of the Old King, which is a song written by Brian. It's his song. When did you write it, Ron?
In 2005. She doesn't pay for taxis, neither does the Queen. She has relapses like she's never been. You can't ask why, you know it just is. You can still see glimpses of my dear old Liz.
Sometimes the face can launch 1,000 ships. Sometimes the wave can rearrange the coast. Bring beer and wine. I need more time to consider.
I stopped taking medication early in 2017 and weaned myself off it. But I don't know if it's whether I needed guidance. Anyway, things got out of control around Christmas. I won't go into details of what happened. It's a bit embarrassing. But I upset some of my neighbours anyway. And the police were called, so I ended up getting sectioned again. This is not very nice stuff to talk about, but perhaps it's useful, so okay.
But I've got this. Sometimes a face can launch 1,000 ships.
When I wrote The Ballad of the Old King, I wasn't on medication. I stopped taking it for a while. And I felt all these influences. And I've become a better writer recently as well, I feel, in the last couple of years. I've met people who have encouraged me in my writing as well and say, well, you're a typical... I often wondered what I was, what should I do? Because I studied architecture as a profession. It didn't work out that well. I don't think I was a natural-born architect.
You can't ask why. You know it just is. You can still see glimpses of my dear old lady.
We are a choir, and it's very clear, for people affected by mental illness. And as much as we try and stay away from labels, I think it's important to recognise, and it's important for people coming in, that they know that, and it's a safe place, because often people coming in who may be vulnerable because they're under strong medication, people who may be just on the edge, people who may be hearing voices, people who may be having high levels of social anxiety, and just getting there to sing is as much as they can do. And other people who find it just such a strong support, who come regularly, come what may.
I always think that I'm worse off. I've got a worse illness than everyone else. You know, that's a funny thing that I do. So making friends with other people in the choirs is difficult. I made friends with Brian because he came to the walking group that I do on Wednesdays. I get on well with him. I've met him outside the choir, and we've been on walks, and we've been to some gigs and things.
Hi ho, it's off to sing we go.
It's mostly internalised, my illness, and it's psychosis, and it's crazy. And people aren't aware of what's going on in my head, you know, so which is just as well, because I'd be too embarrassed to come back afterwards if they knew what was happening, you know. I don't know, I've never asked people what their opinion of me when I'm ill. I was going to say mad, but let's say ill. 1 in 100 is schizophrenic, and there's 8 million people in London, so that means there's 80,000 schizophrenics in London, each affecting family and friends of, say, 2 people. So that's 3 times 80, 240,000 people affected by mental illness just from the point of schizophrenia. So there's a heck of a lot of people affected by mental illness. And the people who haven't got it haven't got a clue of what it's about or what it feels like. And I just can't believe that they can go around not wandering, you know.
And in whose arms you're gonna be. So, darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, good.
Sounds good.
That was good. Okay, that's where it will remain.
We can start. Right, I'm very excited. There's a lot of adrenaline and energy flowing. I guess you must be the same. Yes, yes. Are you all ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, the thing I'd like to just say, what we're going to do in the next 25, 30 minutes is take all that excitement, focus it, get ready to warm up, get ready to sing, and you can rest assured we're going to be the most interesting thing.
Hello everyone, my name is Bernie Flaherty and I'm the Exec Director of Adult Social Care and Health. I have to be honest with you, a week or so ago when I had confirmed about how many numbers were coming, there really wasn't enough to fill the front row, and that made me a bit nervous. So it's so heartening and reassuring to see so many of you here today. Thank you.
Okay.
It feels nerve-wracking.
It's very nerve-wracking, but that nerve-wrackingness is translated to excitement.
Yeah.
Because we've done everything we can, we're ready. So what I've come up with just for today, and I hope it's okay, is just to call us a harmonious mind. Okay.
Very good.
The point of this choir, it's not that we're going out to perform and be perfect. The point of this choir is to give people confidence, to go out and involve the wider community in what we're doing, bring them along with our continuing learning. And it's a constant collaboration. Each time we sing in public, it's not a concert such. It's another step in building the community through music.
When we get up there, I'm just going to tell them a little bit how we got together, and then I'm going to ask for their support, and just say, like, imagine what it's like if somebody came up to you and said, we've got this wonderful confidence-building idea for you, and to get it going, you're going to have to sing in front of 500 people in 5 weeks.
Now we have a very special finale for you.
We need to go up there. Okay, slowly gather your stuff, don't panic.
Across the two councils, different venues, different times, to absolutely make sure
We got one, David. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my truth in order.
Now, I need to go to the toilet.
Got a frog in my throat.
Like a choral gladiator. Wound.
No, it's funny, I've never felt nervous. I've always been concerned that we'll do well, but I've never been nervous as such.
By the time we actually got to the performance at Kensington Town Hall, I'd prepared what I was going to say. I knew how we were going to approach it. We'd worked on it and practiced it. I was happy that we would be fine.
Thanks, everybody. Now we have a very special finale for you. I won't give you too much of an introduction because I know that they'll do that for themselves. But we have a residence choir. I've heard them rehearse, and they're very good. I will just say that there will be a little bit of audience participation in the choir as well. So please get your best singing voices ready, and welcome to the stage, Singing in Mind.
This is our first time on a public stage, and we met only 5 weeks ago. So just imagine yourselves. Somebody came up to you and said, we have a wonderful opportunity to help you as a vulnerable person. And they explain what's going to happen. You say, yes, thank you very much, and you turn up. Then you're told, oh, by the way, as a vulnerable person, please come and stand on a stage in front of up to 500 people and sing. In 5 weeks. Please, just congratulate everybody for standing here today. So we really need your help. And I hope you'll do this very simply, just by joining in with some of the fun. To help us with the initial nerves, we're going to do a short warm-up and involve you guys in doing that. And we'd love you to join in. Arms straight up above your heads. That's it, that's great. Clasp your hands together. And just, without moving your feet or your hips or anything, just stretch up slightly. And if anything's hurting, don't do it. That's it, then just relax. What we're going to do now, this I want everybody to join in, because I think everybody knows Swing Low Sweet Chariot, or most people do. Just put your hands up if you know it. Fantastic. Put your hands up if you know where the saints go marching in. Okay, that's a fair number of you. So we're just going to start. I'm gonna sing, sing, sing. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna dance. Hallelujah. And when the gates are open wide, gonna sing and dance inside. Gonna sing, gonna dance, hallelujah. Are you getting it? Gonna sing, sing, sing. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna dance, hallelujah. And when the gates are open wide, gonna sing and dance inside. Gonna sing, gonna dance, hallelujah. One more time. I'm gonna sing, sing, sing. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance. I did my speech. The audience laughed in the right place. They clapped in the right place. They appreciated what we were doing and what everybody was doing. I would say it was a triumph as a start, because the choir members were very emotional that they'd done it. They were so happy, they were joyous.
You had people around you, like your teammates, the other people in the choir. Once you got over that period of it being daunting, you just got into the flow of actually enjoying the process and really engaging with seeing them, the audience, singing with you. It was really a moving experience, really enjoyed it.
Yes, some people I know better than others in the choir, but actually I feel that they're all my friends. I think I could go to any one of them because we've got something in common. You know, we spent time together, and I think that creates a quite strong bond.
John said to me afterwards, he said, I couldn't speak because I would have just started crying. So it's such an emotional thing for him to be able to be part of this and do this and perform in public.
I was nearly crying. I was nearly crying.
How come?
With emotion. It's a big thing to do.
So, is it the first bit of emotion you go for a while then?
Yeah.
This is my garden, and this is where I can come and just be, and it's my place of safety. I feel every day I give thanks, and I feel very fortunate that I have a small place that I can come, that I can just be. I can shut out the world, or I can let the world in as I feel like it. It's really, I think that's what, I don't think everybody has that. And I'm very grateful that I have it. 1, 2, 3. Hello! Wow, that's it. And one more time. Now let's do Peter back in again. I want everybody to listen to what's going on. So this time we're going to go, hello, how are you? 1, 2, 3. Hello, how are you? Okay, with the energy and the intention, we have to maintain right through. So we go, what I heard was, hello, how are you? I exaggerate slightly for effect, but that was the thing. Hello, how are you? So the you as intentional and direct and as focused and as forceful as the hello. So it's 1, 2, 3.
Hello, how are you?
Very good. Okay, well, last time. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that's it. This is it. This is where the support comes in.